we are asking God questions about our future. We're saying, God, where do you want us? We know we're here, but yet there just seems like there's more. So we can identify with this idea of restlessness on a personal level and also on a church level. How many of you, just to be honest, in the last 12 months, you've just kind of felt a little restless about 217 Church, honestly? Just feel a little restless, like, man, where are we going, or what are we doing? I'm excited, but yet I'm not clear about something. And I think God is kind of churning us as we've gone through lots of changes. And as I've been praying and consulting, talking with the elders, talking with our staff, what I believe God is doing is entering us into a period where our growth will be accelerated. And I'm talking about our spiritual growth. I don't know what God's going to do with the numbers, how many people are going to come. I have no idea, and you don't either. But I do know that I sense that God is accelerating our spiritual growth, and that's a good thing. We've got a team of about 20 people that are going to lead that. And so we're preparing and we're anticipating what God is going to do starting February 3rd. So we're going to do a series. It's going to be a 40-day spiritual growth emphasis, and it's going to be called Relaunch. Rebuild your life. Relaunch. Everybody say relaunch. The purpose of this is threefold. Number one, we're going to celebrate what God has done. We're going to celebrate all the things that God has done, the over 200 baptisms, the small groups, the peoples whose lives have been rebuilt, the marriages that have been restored, the people who have found a relationship with Christ. Because when we were sent here to do this work, we didn't know what was going to happen. We stepped out in faith like something was going to happen. Have you been there? Because we want God to continue to move, don't we? I do not want to be a part of a church movement that is stagnant. I do not want to be a Dead Sea church. I'd rather be a Jordan River church. The Dead Sea church, everything flows into it and dies. I don't want to be that church, and neither do you, and that's why you're here, right? We want to be a Jordan River church. We want to be a church that's flowing and moving and dynamic and changing, sensitive to what God is doing. So we want to celebrate what God has done. And then we want to clarify, number two, how God has positioned us. We just want to get clarity and focus on all the resources, the relationships, the people, you, and the places that you work, and the neighborhoods that we've been called to. So now we find ourselves where we are. At the beginning, we were a single campus church. Now we're a multi-campus church. God has placed us uniquely in this community. We do ministry in the Bromley neighborhood. We have small groups that meet in all different neighborhoods, and God is using those groups to transform people's lives, not only in the church body, but in our community. And so we want to clarify how He's positioned us. And then third, we want to cast a vision for the future. So over these next 4 months, you can pray, God, you can pray this question, God, and I pray it all the time, God, what do you want for the next step for our church? God, what do you want? And I am asking you, as someone who loves the church, to pray and to ask God. Relaunch. What we want to do is we want to celebrate what God has done, clarify how He's positioned us, and cast a strong vision for the future. We're going to do this through 4 areas. We're going to be unified in prayer. We're going to be unified in prayer. We're going to have a concentrated focus. The entire church is going to go through 6 lessons in the book of Nehemiah. I'm really excited about this. It's the first book that we studied. We're going to be looking at the 3 aspects of our vision: how we are restored in our relationship with Christ, how we are to be ones who are in unity rebuilding, and then how we are to be renewing the community. We're going to be looking at those core parts of our mission. Concentrated focus. We're going to do multiple reinforcements. There's going to be a journal, weekly worship, daily quiet time, and what we study in the groups is going to be the same thing we study on the weekends. We're going to go with a concentrated focus, and then we're going to pray and say, oh God, okay God, exponential thinking. We want you, God, to transform our minds, to help us to see things as you do. And we're going to ask God what He wants as we go forward.